In this video, we are going to solve this quadratic inequality, and we're also going to graph it on a number line. So let's begin. So initially, when we do this problem, we're going to actually treat this as a regular equal to 0. And then we're going to do regular factoring. So we're going to want to factor this piece right here. So we'll do our parentheses, x, parentheses, parentheses, x, close parentheses, and we'll keep the inequality though. Now, if factoring is difficult, I'm going to have a playlist of factoring, but this method I'm just doing it mentally. So now I think to myself, what two numbers multiply to give us -10, but adds to give us 3, positive 3? And I know positive 5 minus 2, 5 minus 2 is positive 3, and 5 times -2 is -10. So I know that this form right here is the correct factored form. Like I mentioned, we're going to treat this as a regular equal sign for right now. So we think to ourselves, what value of x makes this piece 0? Because 0 times any number, like 0 times a billion, is still going to be 0. So what value of x would make this piece 0? And we know it should be -5 because -5 plus 5 is 0. Now we do the exact same thing for this piece. What value of x makes this piece 0? Because 0 times any number is still 0. So we would get x is equal to positive 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. At this point, we're going to draw a number line, and we're going to put those two values. We have -5, and we have positive 2. And I'm going to do a little table, and what I'm going to have is I want a number less than -5. Any number less than -5. And I'm just going to put -6. Then I need a number between -5 and 2. 0 is a good one, but you could pick 1, you could pick other numbers. And I need a number bigger than 2, so we can go with 3. Now in this problem, this is saying that this stuff right here is going to be greater than or equal to 0. So I need to think, is a positive number bigger than 0? Yes. Now is a negative number bigger than 0? No. So right now we need to figure out what makes this piece positive and what makes this piece negative. And that's going to lead us to our answer. So we put a -6. If I put a -6 here, -6 minus 2 is -8. So a negative number. -6 plus 5 is -1, also a negative number. And a negative times a negative is a positive number. So I know if I have a -6, this whole piece right here would be a positive number. It doesn't matter what kind of positive number it is, but I know it's going to be bigger than 0. Now we try 0. So 0 minus 2 would be -2, so a negative number. 0 plus 5 is a positive 5, so a positive number. And a negative times a positive is a negative. The last one, 3. 3 minus 2 is positive 1. And 3 plus 5 is a positive 8. And a positive times a positive is a positive. So let's think about this. So we want this whole piece to be a number bigger than 0. And we know if we have -6, we're going to get a positive number. Now we're going to put a shaded circle. This means it includes -5. And again, why does it include -5? If you had -5, this piece becomes 0. 0 times any number is 0. And 0 is greater than or equal to 0. So it includes -5. And we said -6 is a positive number. So all of this will be positive number. And so they will all be answers. Now 0, we got a negative number, so it's not included because if you have a 0, it's going to be some negative number. It's not going to be bigger than 0. It's going to be some negative number. And now we try 2. So 2 again would work because 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 times any number is 0. And 0 is greater than or equal to 0. So we're going to put a solid circle. And we tried 3, and when we had 3, we got a positive number also. So we're going to draw a arrow going this way. So this is our answer in a graph form, but we can also write it as an interval notation. So we can say parentheses, all of this goes all the way to -infinity. So you put parentheses, -infinity, comma, -5 with a bracket. Now the reason why -infinity has a parentheses, you can never get to infinity. But -5 you can get to, and that's why you're going to show -5 with a bracket because it means it includes -5. Then you use the word u or union, And then we do this piece. So we're going to use a bracket by 2 because, again, we can get 2 and 2 is allowed, comma, all the way to the right to infinity. So you can say comma infinity. And this is the answer in interval notation. You could also write it another way. You could also write it as x is less than or equal to -5. So this thing right here. Or x is greater than or equal to 2. This piece right here. And that's pretty much it to solve quadratic inequalities and graph it.